Hey guys, welcome to Off the Rails Tech. And I just recorded this video and now I have to re-record it because I realized that I had done a Windows update and it had messed with my sound settings. And so I recorded the entire video and there was no audio with it. So now I have to redo it. I've made so many changes and I don't think I'm gonna go back and undo them all to show you what I did again. I undid one particular thing which I'll redo now and show you what that was. Anyway, this is supposed to be the fifth video I think in my Django series. We're going to be doing more with forms, and then I was cleaning up the. We had kind of some bad code where we had a for loop in our template and then another nested for loop inside of it, so that you can see it used to be here. So we were looking at for restaurant in restaurant, so every restaurant in our database, and then again we were going through another list which had the ratings, but that list also contained every restaurant in the database, so it was really inefficient. I wanted to clean it up, and I came up with a way to do that, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Unfortunately, and then I added some forms. I'll just kind of show you what I did with the forms. So yeah, let's jump into it again. First time for you guys though. Alright, so we had our bad code here. So one thing that we did, if you remember, we had boy, this is difficult because I don't have the code in front of me, but I'll give it my best. This is in the restaurants view. Okay, so we were passing this restaurant ratings. We didn't have this part here from, we were passing just rating, which was a dictionary, which resulted in us having a dictionary, and then the value of our key ended up being a dictionary. So we had nested dictionaries. When it looked like this, we didn't have a comment here, but it just looked like this. We were passing a dictionary object into our dictionary. So what I did is, to make it cleaner, I am passing just the value. Let me see if we can just quickly, so I can just show you, if I can quickly add restaurant. Well, there's the restaurants, right? Okay, so we want restaurant ratings, right? I'm just gonna throw this at the end of the text here. See if we can run server. Okay. Right, so this is what we had before, and then this is our dictionary, and these are our dictionaries inside. So basically what we're doing is, instead of passing a dictionary, we're going to pass it the value to make it a bit cleaner, which is going to help us in our next step. So this is a lot cleaner. I could have done this last week instead of doing it in the view like we did. Some bad code was here. Alright, so now we have a nice clean dictionary to work with. Now unfortunately Django doesn't have anything built into it where you can just in a loop get the dictionary value by using a variable. We were getting the dictionary value by using a constant, right? Because we did, if you did something like this, and then say you did Ember, which is one of the restaurants, right? See, we get 3.5, 3.5. But you can't do, what you can't do is say you just want to get like restaurant slug, which is what we really want. It won't let you do that, right? It just blanks it out. So the way we're going to fix that is using something called template tags. Now the way Django is set up to handle template tags is you have to make a folder inside your application called template tags, right? Let me just double check this. Template tags. And then you have to make a init file that's empty, like pretty much every folder in your Django project has. You might have noticed, like this one has one, there's one here. They get auto-generated. I don't really know what they do, but you need them. I think they just look to see if there's a init file there for whatever reason. But now we get to build our template tags, which we're going to use basically a dictionary filter is what this template tag is going to do for us, so that's what we'll name it. Okay, so the first thing you have to do in our template tag is from Django import template. And then, whoops, not templates. And then we have to register template library. And this basically is going to add our filter into the standard template library that is in Django. We'll still have to add a line here to load it in, but yeah, that's basically what that line is doing. And then we're going to register filter, and we're going to say def get item. It's going to be dictionary key, and then we're just going to return dictionary get key. Okay? And I got to make sure I spell correctly. So basically all our template tag filter thing here is doing is it's going to return the value of the key. So it's going to just get it and return it. So to use it, we have to go over to our restaurants and we have to do load dictionary filter. And to use it, to use a template tag, you do this pipe. So we're going to pipe it, and then we're going to say get item colon. And get item is just because that's what we have defined here is our method. So get item, and then what we're passing to it is the restaurant slug. So that should fix this, so that we no longer have that nested for loop inside of a for loop ugliness. And one thing with these template tags is you do have to restart your server. You can't just leave it running and do it live. It will complain. Now you notice that we have our correct ratings here. So let's go ahead and kill this because we don't need that anymore. And the next thing I did, which is already done, is I created a new form. So basically I just went back into forms, and so I added this add dish form, and it's just like the add restaurant form. You know, you're just defining the fields that are going to appear on the form, with the exception of down here we have this method where we're overriding the init method, and the reason we're doing that is because our restaurant field, we want to have a drop-down menu, right? We don't want to just have it be a field that people can type anything they want in. We want to drop down, kind of like we have with the state, except that's a little bit different. We're using this third-party local flavor thing. So over here, we need to make sure that we're getting a query set of all of the restaurant objects in our database and returning that as choices for restaurant. And the reason we're doing it in this, overriding the init form to do it, instead of just throwing model choice field up here, is that this gets called every time the page load. This does not. So if you did it up here and then you started adding different restaurants, you'd notice that your drop down is missing items that should be there. But if you do it in the init, then this will run every time that you load the form. So it's basically going to take the self fields restaurant is going to be a model choice field, and the choices we're going to have are a query set, which is every single restaurant object we have. So that's what this section is doing. And the other thing I did is, obviously we have to fill in these fields, but we do have the slug field. We actually have two slug fields, if you remember. We have the slug and then the URL slug. So I did the same thing that we had done up here, where we're basically auto generating our slug. It's just taking the name and making a slug. Now we're taking the name of the restaurant, right, and we're converting that to a string, right, because we don't want it to not be a string, because it wouldn't be a string. It would be technically a slug field. And then we're adding a dash, and then we're putting the name of the dish. So it's going to be the restaurant slug, a dash, the name of the dish. And then we're also doing the URL slug, which is very similar to the one up here, where we're just slugifying the name. And then don't forget to, if you copy and paste it, don't forget to change this, this super restaurant. You want to make sure this is dish, because we're working with this dish model here. And then it saves it. And then after that, you have to build the view, which I also have already done. So we already had this add a restaurant view. I added some comments in here. So I basically took this, copied and pasted it, and just changed the title here, changed the name of the form wherever it appeared, and then changed this to add dish HTML, and then the context. I did all that first, and then I had to do the URL actually. After that, I did the URL, where I added this line here, which was path add dish, views add dish as view. And then once that was done, I basically just went here and I also added this to the menu bar, but I just was making sure that the form worked as I thought. And indeed it does. We have our form here. You'll notice this comment box is a bit bigger than these other char fields. That is because of the widget that we have here, where it says forms text area. So even though this is a char field and this is a char field, you notice the name is much shorter and this comment box is a lot larger. That is because of this widget here. And then you might have also noticed I put some help text, which says please rate 1 to 5. In fact, why don't we do a little bit of editing, since I was going to do this in next week's video, but I think there's max value equals 5. and we'll say min value equals 1. So we should not be able to pass this form of value lower than 1 or greater than 5. It should throw errors at us, and I think I did that right. Min value, max value. So we'll try it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and obviously in base, I added to the nav bar in the base HTML. I added this add dish. So, and then once I not validated, but checked to make sure the form was how I wanted it, all the fields were displaying, I went back and I then made the post, which was again just basically changing dish form, changing restaurant form to dish form. You have to change dish form here and here, and then obviously you want dish objects create, and then we want to return back to the main restaurant page when we're done. So that was pretty easy. You just cut and paste from above and change all the instances of restaurant form to dish form, and make sure you change this too. So let's go ahead and add a dish. So I actually added a dish earlier. It was this rainbow roll at the House of Teriyaki, but let's add another dish. We'll say tuna roll. Price, I have no idea. We'll just say $4. Rating, we'll say is a 4. Oh, well, yeah. Let's try. Let's try going above our max value here. Let's say it's amazing. It's an 8. Best tuna roll in the world, right? Because it's an 8, right? It's all the way up to, it's an 11, right? Please select a value that is no more than 5. Perfect. So this validation is working. Well, I mean, let's check it. Let's do 0. Please select a value that's no less than 1. Perfect. No less than 1. And this said no more than 5. Okay. So we'll add it to, there we go. There is our tuna roll. There's a rainbow roll. And there's our form. And yeah, this is going to be a short video, guys, because I did a lot of the work during the first shoot, which had no audio. What I am going to do next week, just because I'm getting a little tired here since I already spent a bunch of time shooting this video. Next week we'll fix this form here so that instead of showing the slug version in the drop down, we'll actually show the prettier name with the capital letters and the spaces. And then when it saves, it's going to save the slug version because that's what the database is expecting. And it will throw an error if you don't. Actually, it's expecting, I think behind the scenes it just is a number. It takes the hidden ID field, but that's another discussion. Yeah. So sorry if this video was a bit brief. Let me know what you guys think. I had some ideas and I'm not sure. I'm thinking of making this site a little different. Instead of going 3 levels deep, so we have right now we have this first level of all the restaurants, which is great. I love it. And then we go to the second level where we have the list of the dishes. And then we go to the third level where we have kind of a description of the one dish. I'm thinking of dropping it down to just 2 levels. So we'll still have this just the way it is, where we list the restaurants, and we have the average rating, which I think is cool. But then here, instead of even doing a table, I'm thinking of doing something like just have a heading like a H3 or something of the name of the dish, and then below that we could have like the rating and the price, and then below that we could have the comment, and then we'll just do basically a for loop, and then another right below it, another heading will be the next dish, and so forth and so on, and we won't have to click in to see these comments, because I just feel like that's not, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. You know what? This video's been a little short. We'll do a little bit more work right now. Actually, let's clean up the CSS. Let's add a little more details right on the screen, because I want to do that. So that's the single restaurant, right? That's the one restaurant, which would be single dish. Dishes. That's actually dishes, because we're listing all the dishes at a restaurant. Okay, yeah. Alright, restaurant name. So besides restaurant name, why don't we have things like the address? Like, we're capturing this data, right? And we're not even displaying it anywhere. Or we have the, right? We're capturing the name, the address, and the town. We're not displaying this address anywhere. So let's do restaurant name. Let's do address. Address. And we'll do we're capturing, what are we capturing? We're capturing the town and the state. So let's do town and state. I'd like to do the phone number too. Maybe we'll do that right now too. State. Let's actually take a quick look at the ink CSS. This is the fonts right here. So I kind of like this condensed light. So if we do view selected source, and we put this in wrap it in a P paragraph tag, do the class, and then just do the same thing below. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. I like the font. I don't like how spaced out it is. But I do want them on separate lines. I think there's a way to do that without... I don't think that will work. I think that's going to bump it up to one line. Yep. But if I do BR, there we go. That's not bad. I like that. Yeah. I think I'm liking this idea of getting rid of this table altogether. And then we'll do something like, I'm going to keep this for now. But, so say we'll do another BR here. And then say, I don't know, an H3 maybe. And let's just do dishes and 4. We'll give it a dish name. And then we'll, oh, I don't know, maybe do this medium, right? And then we'll do something like rating. Price. And then if we did something like maybe something like one of these thin ones. Which is the same thing we have up there. And we'll just do dish comment, right? Something like this. You guys let me know. We'll see what this looks like. You let me know what you think. You know, I might clean it up probably a little bit. Yeah. But let's take a look. Restaurant list, Ember Hawaiian pizza, rating 14, barbecue wings, finger looking good, and then we'll get rid of this. These and this are not, I like this, maybe these need to be, that's an H2, there's not a big enough difference in my opinion. Maybe we could do something with the color. I don't know, guys. What do you think? You guys let me know. We'll fix it up. We'll make it look nice. Maybe we need to, yeah, make that a 1. Yeah, maybe do something with the color, or maybe, ooh. How about we put this in like a box? Oh, I like that idea. Ooh, let's do that real quick. Sorry, guys. This is actually turning out to be a much longer video than I thought. Although it's not really on the topics I thought it would be, but I think that's okay. Off the Rails is about being not tied down to a script. So let's see, we don't want forms, we don't want buttons, we don't want flexbox, fonts, heading, paragraphs, lifts, emphasis maybe? Block quotes, ooh, I saw that. Here we go, block quotes, addresses. A paragraph with notes. Let's just take a quick look at the source here. Code note class. Div class example p class note. Huh. So that would be, I wonder if I could just do, I wonder if I could do it in a div. That would be nice. Div class note. think this will work. Well, it made some stuff smaller, but it did not do. I just want like this gray box, like, I don't know. Example? I wonder if example is the thing that is giving it the box. Nope. Hypertext, ordered lists, headings. Tables, captions. Says font, says font. Uppercase, lowercase, font, awesome. I think maybe we just have to like set the background of the div. You know what? I'll do that off camera, and I'll just show you, because that's probably, you know what, this video is just gone completely off the rails, which yeah, given the name of the show, I'm not surprised. I hope you guys at least somewhat enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't typical, and yeah, hopefully you learned something. Next week we'll fix that form so that it displays the pretty nice font here. The without the slug will show the name, and then yeah, I'm not sure what else is next, but I'll think of something, guys. All right, have a good one.